Xbox is back. X back. Yeah. There's constant talk about Xbox being dead, Xbox being alive. It's so over, we're so back. I mean, it's every other day that this is sort of a common occurrence. And while Xbox as a brand, or any of the gaming brands or companies, are never really dead, they're always moving in a direction. And whether or not you like that direction usually determines whether or not you're willing to invest your time, your money, to engaging with the platforms, hardware, and services these companies offer. And for Xbox, the direction was down, just plain and simple. Console sales are down. Software sales are down. Last year, reporting about game subscriptions and revenues were at 10%, and the growth rate was flat. And if you're not growing, you're dying. At least according to investors. So we're going to go ahead and call that down. So put that in the down column. Great. Okay, cool. But what if we change directions? What if things weren't all complete doom and gloom for Xbox? At the beginning of this year, you probably would think to yourself, there's no fucking way. They're putting games everywhere else. Hardware sales are in the toilet. Starfield's got like 20 video essays every day. But 4 months in, I think things are looking a little bit up and might actually be good. So let's talk about it. Last week, backwards compatibility got revived. The service was introduced back in 2015, and according to the list, damn near 1,000 games got added across Xbox 360 and Xbox Original for backwards compatibility with the Xbox Series consoles, even Xbox One games, with the whole Kinect and other shenanigans that might have prohibited them from being available on the platform. Microsoft did a good thing in getting these games working on modern platforms, and it continues to make the physical games from the Xbox 360 and Xbox One generations relevant today if you're looking to play those games on a modern platform. And it stands in stark contrast to PlayStation, who just doesn't do this at all. The premium version of PS Plus does have PS1 and some PS2 games, but PS3 games are stranded. The only way you're playing these games is if you're going to stream them, but it's just nowhere close to being as good as the real deal. You're introducing all sorts of latency and other issues, so it makes sense that you're not going to get the best experience streaming the games. I mean, we saw how Stadia turned out, and streaming is so far away, I don't even think it's worth considering, at least as a primary method of playing games. So when they announced that they revived this last week, I think you can't look at that as anything other than a massive W for Xbox as a platform. Now, this mainly affects console users, as backwards compatibility on PC just already exists. It's been a thing. You just play the games. People brute force compatibility on PC all the time. But if you're on console, basically SOL. You need a developer to do it, or you need Microsoft to do it. And a lot of times, it's Microsoft. And they do a good job. I mean, Fallout 3 and New Vegas play at 60 FPS 4K now. Like, Bethesda's not doing that. They're too busy working on Shattered Space or whatever the hell. So that's a W for Microsoft. We're putting it in the W column. Next up, really more of a business thing, but Microsoft mended the relationship with NetEase. Blizzard and NetEase cut ties back in 2022 after a long partnership of publishing games in China, which was materially important for NetEase and for Blizzard's bottom line. Blizzard's split from them was around terms. They wanted more money, plain and simple. Probably Bobby's doing. But he's gone, so guess what? We're back in. So Chinese gamers, Merry Christmas, except it's April. Here's the games, enjoy. It probably won't happen that quickly that games are available, although maybe, who knows. But it's a pretty big W for them and for Microsoft as a business, because they get more customers and that's what they want. Alternatively, Xbox is going to get more games from China, which is cool. There's probably a lot of good ones over there we never get. So I think this is a big win for everybody. The showcase leaks from last week paint a pretty interesting picture. Call of Duty 2024 is another Black Ops title, probably the fan favorite sub-franchise in that franchise of games, so seeing another entry into that is great. And hopefully they go back to the actual like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 roots of the story and leave Black Ops 3 behind.
Am I dreaming?
Well, let's say you are. Why not just go with it?
Stick to Law & Order. Let's get back to the espionage. Hudson with his cool fucking glasses.
It never gets old.
I'm sure we'll get some cool announcements from other first-party titles. Looks like Gear 6 is going to make a return, which is awesome. Which brings me to the next point. Xbox seems to be turning a corner when it comes to its multimedia business and TV. Halo Season 1 was a disaster.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
And a lot of people would say Halo Season 2 was also ass. But it seems that Halo Season 2 was at least better than Halo Season 1, even if they refused to surgically implant Chief's helmet on his head. Season 2 seems to be better, and then on top of that, the Fallout TV show is a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, when I watched the first clip, and I watched that power armor jettison into the scene, it looked like a cheap cosplay. It looked like some shit somebody 3D printed and threw onto a guy at Comic-Con, MegaCon, or any of these other conventions. And I'm still not convinced that that armor looks good, and I still think it looks terrible. The show's getting good reviews, and it's about to be out, so it looks like it's probably another win for Microsoft. We'll see how it goes, but it's already been renewed for a season 2, which looks great, and especially in comparison to PlayStation, who's already been killing it, at least in the Last of Us TV show, even if I didn't think the Uncharted movie was very good. And maybe, just maybe, with all the Gears 6 talk from the showcase this summer, we might actually see the Gears of War movie, which has been long reported and long been talked about for years at this point. Even Batista's clawing at the doors of any casting director trying to get this thing made. And then finally, the hardware is coming at least later this year. We're gonna get hardware, it's gonna get revealed, it's supposed to be the largest generational leap ever for an Xbox console. We'll see about that. Or if that even matters. But it's coming. And if the handheld rumors are true and the reports are true that they are actually making a handheld console as a companion in replacement of the Series S's slot on the hardware SKUs, then I think it's great. And I think it'll actually be a pretty interesting next few years of playing on Xbox, given that there'll be a native handheld. The Series S is cool, and it sells well, clearly, but as a core player on the Xbox platform, I would much rather make the trade-off in the way of form factor than I would be in, say, just a cheaper, smaller box that plays the same games in the same fashion. Handhelds are all the rage these days. We're seeing the Asus ROG Ally 2 later this year. Lenovo just leaked that they're making a Legion Go follow-up. We know that the Steam Deck 2 is coming. There's all these sort of handheld devices flooding the market, and the Windows handhelds are interesting, but it'd be much better if we had a Microsoft alternative, and it looks like we're going to get that. Hopefully revealed later this year in the Game Awards, similar to how they revealed the Series X console back in 2019. And finally, the games. We got Hellblade 2 in May, Indiana Jones later this year. I mentioned the showcase leaks for Call of Duty that's probably coming to Game Pass. Reports suggest that even more Call of Duty games are coming to Game Pass. It looks like we're going to get a lot of games in the service, and that's awesome. It remains to be seen just how many games get announced this year and how many are coming to the platform. But I think all in all, with everything we're looking at, Xbox as a business is in for a good year. If you care about multiplats, and if you're on the fence about playing on an Xbox because you like exclusives, I think by the end of the year, you'll probably be swayed to jump ship. But if you're here for the hardware, you're here for the OS, you're here for the experience of playing on the console and the platform, then I think you're in for a good year. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.